Hey y'all, Shade Tree Joe here, and I'm addicted to gasoline. So the new motor's going in Kimmy's Jimmy. Got everything put together now, and we're getting it stuffed in the engine bay. And then we'll go ahead and do some work on getting it up and running. So stand by, because it's gonna be a good one. Okay, so new parts have been arriving, and good news, bad news kind of stuff. The alternator looks like it's going to be a good fit. So we're good there, other than this bolt here. Let's see if I can get in on that. Gee, look at that part of the water pump that cracked out. So, I don't know. I mean, this water pump has been sitting for 10 years. It's probably not going to be any good. So I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over that. I'll probably... More than likely it'll get replaced. New fuel pumps on, water neck housing sitting in place. That's what the new valve covers are going to look like, instead of that rusty junk that was bent up. Here's the problem with Chinese in the intake manifold. Okay, see that? See that? Gonna have to do a little bit of trimming to make the air conditioning compressor bracket fit. Not a big deal, just something to be aware of. So, overall, I'm still happy with it. We'll find out when I go ahead and try and run it. But yeah, I mean, it's coming together. Okay, here comes the favorite part of the build. Watch the oil pressure. Time for new battery. Keep in mind, this is also filling up the oil pressure. And I kind of filled it up a little bit, but there we go. Look at that. Look at that pressure go. Safe to say the oil's circulating now. Like I said, new filter's filled up completely. And do this until the grill decides it doesn't want to do this. Safe to say the pre-lube is getting everywhere now. Alright, so there's where we're at, and we're waiting for the FedEx guy to deliver pipe plugs, these various ports, so I can seal all that up that doesn't need used. And yeah, I got some wiring repairs to make, and then it goes in the engine compartment. Just doing helper kitty. Alright, so there we have it. The motor is now ready to go in. The pipe plugs I ordered from Jegs, apparently FedEx has them lost somewhere in the system. So rather than mess with that, I went ahead and got brass plugs for the front and back ports. Got all those done. I had to trim this one off a little bit with the death wheel to make sure I go ahead and clear the upper radiator hose on the bottom side. I didn't want to wear a hole in the hose, but real simple fix there. So it's ready to go in. I've just got to go ahead and repair some wiring and install the torque converter pump seal. Make sure I got a fresh one in there, and then we're swinging this in the truck. Okay, so there we are. The motor's hanging back on the engine crane. The flex plate's back on. Torque converter seal has been replaced. The torque converter bolts are out. So we can go ahead and swing this in. Here we go. Well, that's it. She's in the hole. I had to take the the driver's side valve cover off to make sure I didn't bugger it up on the brake booster, but she's in the hole.
Deadly silent, Cinderella story, out of nowhere, a former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion. It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
As much as I hate to say it, Kim's not going to get to start her truck today. Motor's in, the headers are on. I was in the process of putting the spark plugs in, putting the ignition wires on, and putting the carburetor in place along with the fuel system. And if you can tell by the wind, it's getting ready to pour here. So thunderstorms are coming and it's just gonna have to sit. It sucks, but it is the way it is. Everything's buttoned up as tight as I can get it, so I shouldn't get any water in the new motor. But you know, timing is everything. Damn it. Well, it'll run later this week. It's just not going to happen this weekend, and I've got to work tomorrow, so crap happens. Oh well. Okay, so there's a lot that's been happening off camera with all of this. I wanted to go ahead and record a lot more and share a lot more of how this project was going, but the weather and the deadline I put on myself kind of got in the way of things, and so I kind of had to accelerate the process. So I did get some more done with the motor yesterday after the rain passed. I've got more rain coming in right now, and I'm going to try and go ahead and hook up the transmission lines, the lower hose, and then all that's left is some wiring issues, but again, I'm working in the rain, so we'll see. You can kind of see everything's kind of buttoned up right now. I've got air cleaner on, got it wrapped in plastic. Everything else is covered up with the exception of like the alternator. Yeah, I got 2 transmission lines to hook up still. I've got the lower hose to hook up, and then it's just the HEI wiring at the back and wiring in the battery. So, but we have rain. It's raining out here in the pasture. It's not heavy rain just yet, but it's rain nonetheless. So it's kind of working with what I can. Tree's kind of sheltering me right now, but you know, it's still rain. If it starts coming down any heavier, I'll have to go back inside for a bit. Yep, I'm here. I'm getting ready to work on the truck, and even though the sun's shining, it's raining yet again. Go figure. Not a big deal. This too shall pass. Dogs quit. The gas ball's not hooked up, so a little bit of gas down the front. What's that look for? It's open headers right now, sweetheart. Give me a second. A little bit more gas. Obviously, I got ignition. Good. Okay, hit it again. Melt over time. Go ahead. Alright, go the other way, all the way off. Oh, I just want to make sure so I don't get zapped. You reach across the top of the taps and they spark you. They let the hell out of you. More juice, more juice. I have no idea how actually good this program is. So, yeah. Okay. Go. Does not require a dog. I promise it does not require a dog. Go. Definitely off my bit. Alright, well, we know it starts, we know it cranks. We gotta make a lot of pops. Yeah, got new door seals. You gotta shut it like you mean it. Should be. Well, it's not backfiring through the carburetor, so there's that. There's a whole bunch more retards. See what it does now. My face is not in it, trust me. Step on ducks. Guessing, you know, so.
Oh, I want to see that one.
Well, that's a project.
That's the next project down the road.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Look, it's moving. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Okay, the air compressor is buzzing in the background, but there we go. Time to make some happy sound. There's the happy sound. Oh yes. Long awaited for, and it's in, and it's running. Got a little bit of work to do yet, but hey, it runs, and it runs good. There it is. Plug bar, one more time in English. The plug wires are kind of messy right now, and I get it. That's one of the things that's gonna be addressed. Air filter that I have is garbage. Basically, it's just go ahead and keep the dirt out for right now. Or keep the carburetor covered for right now. I'll go ahead and get a fresh air filter for it. But it makes the happy sound, and we all love the happy sound. Okay guys, if you've watched the video through so far, you know that yesterday when we went to start the truck, the timing was off a bit, a good bit, so to speak. I was having issues when Kim was turning the key. We tried playing with the distributor forward and backwards, and wasn't really getting what we wanted, just getting pops out the pipe and not much else. I knew I was close on timing because it wasn't backfiring through the carburetor, so it wasn't 180 degrees out. But at the same point, it wasn't right, as obviously not right. And so I resorted to an old school trick, basically walking the spark plug wires backwards around the distributor cap. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So normally on your Chevrolet engine, at least on your V8 engines that use a distributor, for you non-computer controlled guys, this is typically your number one cylinder. This should be your number one spark plug. Because I was too far advanced on the timing, we weren't going ahead and getting the fire off right. So what I ended up doing was taking the spark plug wires and walking it backwards around the cap. So this became number one, and so on and so forth, working our way back around. And therefore this became number 8. In doing that, I had to go ahead and use, so anyway, I had to use a longer plug wire to go ahead and reach for number 8. Fortunately, the kit that I bought came with a spare that was much longer than needed, so I was able to do that. But we're going to go ahead and fix this, and we're going to pull the distributor back out, move it back one tooth in the cam gear, and then settle it back down the oil pump, and everything should be good from there. And then we can go ahead and tighten things up enough that we can actually worry about setting timing and all that. Okay, so here we go. We got the distributor cap off now, and you can see the rotor is pointing back here towards the passenger side firewall, just shy of this recess right here. And so when we go ahead and pull this thing up, we're going to go ahead and drop it back one tooth, which is pretty much going to go ahead and take that pointer and have it pointing back over here into that recess. So, whoop, there you go. So we're at this pointer here, your rotor is going to be pointing back over here rather than right here. So that's what's going to happen when I walk this back. And then, like I said, I'm going to have to go ahead and get the distributor drive gear for the oil pump to match back up and re-engage. I'm probably just going to pull the distributor tool or the oil pump tool out to get it lined up, and then we'll put everything back together. Okay, now right now I've got the distributor sitting back in one tooth back, but the oil pump drive shaft isn't seated into the bottom of the distributor drive. So do one of two things. I either go ahead and try and bump it with the key and the battery, see if it'll go ahead and settle in, or I can go ahead and pull out the distributor drive shaft tool or the oil pump drive shaft tool and go that route. I think I'm going to try and cheat the first time around, see if I can't get it to settle in on its own. Yeah, work smarter, not harder, some kind of crap, or do it the lazy way, one of the two. We'll figure it out. Okay, I'll be damned. Bumping the starter around did the trick. I basically bumped it one full rotation, just a tap at a time, and darn if it didn't go ahead and settle right in. You can see it's resting on the gasket rather than that probably, I don't know, 3/16 1/4 inch gap that there was, because it wasn't setting down in there. But you can see that collar is sitting down on top of the intake manifold now. So yeah, we are ready to go ahead and throw that clamp back on there and snug it up a little bit. It's not necessarily lazy if it works, just saying. Okay, so there we are. The cap's back on, the wires have been walked back around. There's number one again, right here at the front where it should be. 1/8, blah, 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 blah. So, and then number two. So anyway, there it is. And if I would throw a little bit of gas down the carburetor, I'm sure I'll go ahead and fire off. And I can dick around with the timing a little bit, but that's where it sits right now. So I think we're not in bad shape. So like I said, I've got to go ahead and clean up these wires, get them loomed up so they're not up against header pipes and whatnot, and I don't burn them. I mean, they're pretty nice for Chinesium wires. I think they're like 10.5 millimeter or something like that. So what the heck were these things called? Actually, I don't know that they're Chinesium, but it's JDM, JDM speed wires. So pretty cheap cost-wise anyway, but seem like nice quality. There it is right there. JDM speed. Thank you, Amazon. Well, there she sits. You heard it run. Still having some issues with the idle. I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and pull the carburetor off and go through, make sure the idle circuit's cleaned out. If you go ahead and run high idle, it'll run fine. But if you want to go ahead and have it idle like a normal engine, you know, 600, 700, 800 RPM, somewhere thereabouts, it doesn't want to do it. It just dies out. So I need to throw a vacuum gauge on there, figure out what's going on. And like I said, more than likely I'll pull the carburetor off and go through, clean the idle circuit. I did take the top off earlier today, and you know, for used marketplace carburetor, the inside's pretty clean. So I mean, it wasn't loaded up with calcium. It had been sitting with ethanol in it, or ethanol blend fuel. So we're good there. Anyway, like I said, we've got a little bit more work to do on this, at least to have it to where I can start driving it around the yard. There's a lot that needs to get done. I noticed when I hooked up the battery, I was playing with the lights just to see if I even had power. And yeah, I've got parking lights, I got tail lights. No headlights for whatever reason. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if it's headlight switch. I don't know if it's just wiring. All the lights are dimmer than I would like to see. It is what it is. Again, you know, the truck's been sitting since 2015, so there's a lot that's going to need done. I also topped off power steering fluid. For whatever reason, the pump wasn't whining when the truck was running, but there was no power steering fluid in it. It does have fluid now, and it is working. So I've got that part going. Still have to go ahead and install the vacuum port for the brakes, hook up the brake booster. I think we're probably pretty good with the valve lash. I'll know more on that when I put the vacuum gauge on. And then once I know the valve lash is good, I'll go ahead and see about getting the air conditioning compressor mounted and actually charge the air conditioning. It'd be, kind of nice to have a old classic truck that actually has air conditioning that works. I know it'll make Kim happy. So Ethel, we suck it up with no AC right now. It's on my list. It just hasn't happened yet. So other priorities, life, other trucks, other projects get in the way. You know how it goes. So anyway, this is Shade Tree Joe. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've got the hood back on this one now. Went ahead and used the tractor and strap and took my time and just kind of got it settled in. So at least now I can close the hood. I think you saw the fresh air filter. So kind of keep the actual filth out of the motor now. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So hopefully pretty soon we'll find out if the transmission works. We'll drive it around the yard. That'll be next. See y'all. Have a good evening. Be safe. Be good to each other. And if you like what you see, thumbs up, share it with your friends, whatever. If you don't like it, if there's something you're seeing I'm doing wrong, hey, give me a shout. Let me know. I got thick skin. I don't get butt hurt. So we'll see y'all. Have a good one.